the Let's Master English podcast, and I'm your host, Coach Shane. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Master English podcast. This is episode number 95. I'm Coach Shane. Thank you very much for listening. Do you like the LME podcast? I hope so. Let me know. Send me an email, contact@letsmasterenglish.com, and I'll talk about other ways you can get in touch with me too. So what's happening in this podcast? Well, we have 3 short news stories, a fact from Country Shane, another great question in the Q&A section. Today in history, observances for July 21st, birthdays happening today, and shout-outs. All of that and more great things to learn in English in the LME episode 95 podcast. So let's cut the chit-chat and let us begin. Orla Walsh of Ireland and her mother were recently cleaning out a freezer when they found a 26-year-old lasagna. It had an expiration date of March 1997. The meal was found among some camping gear. The Walsh family did not eat it. Date stacking is trending for people who don't have a lot of time to date. Date stacking involves going on multiple one-hour dates in one night. Most date stackers plan 3 dates over the course of 5 hours. If any of the dates go well, they then book a second date. And finally, a 2007 Apple iPhone was recently auctioned off for $197,000. The phone has 4 gigabytes of memory and retailed for $499 when it was released. All right, 3 interesting stories. Let's make sure we understand everything. So the first story actually takes place in Ireland. Have any of you been to Ireland? Are any of you right now in Ireland? You know, I'm Irish, about 50% Irish. I think about that much, at least 25%. I'm very Irish, that's for sure. Well, this woman's name was Orla Walsh. Yeah, that's not a common name. Probably you've never heard the name Orla. I haven't. It's a woman's name, Orla, O-R-L-A. Orla Walsh of Ireland. And her mother were recently cleaning out a freezer. Okay, so you have your refrigerator, right? And usually the refrigerator, on the bottom is the refrigerator, and on top is the freezer. Or maybe if you have side by side, the left side is the freezer and the right side is the refrigerator. Or maybe even your freezer is on the bottom. All refrigerators are different. But anyway, the freezer, that's where your ice and frozen food is. You can also buy stand-alone freezers. A standalone freezer is only a freezer. There's no refrigerator, okay? So, for example, we have a freezer downstairs. And in the freezer, we keep lots of meat. And what else is in there? Meat, vegetables, and I think that's about it. But freezers, after a year or maybe 2 years, they build up ice on the inside. And we should clean that ice. So every year, at least every 2 years, we try to clean our freezer. And that's what this woman was doing. Her and her mother were recently cleaning out a freezer when they found a 26-year-old lasagna. Do you know lasagna? L-A-S-A-G-N-A. Lasagna. It's an Italian food. It's got noodles and cheese and tomato sauce and beef. Well, that's the kind that I like. And it's delicious. And my wife, she makes lasagna, and she'll make like 2 or 3 lasagnas at one time. And then we freeze 2 of them, and we keep 1 in the refrigerator. But you can buy frozen lasagnas at the grocery store. That makes life really easy. I don't think they're as healthy or as delicious, but it is convenient. And evidently, that's what Orla and her mother did. They bought a frozen lasagna, and they put it in their freezer, and they forgot. And the lasagna, if you look at food, it has an expiration date, a date that you can keep it in the refrigerator or keep it in the freezer, but after this date, you shouldn't eat it anymore. It's bad. Well, this lasagna had an expiration date of March 1997. So I'm guessing they bought the lasagna in 1996. And right now it's 2023. So they called it a 26-year-old lasagna. It might be 27 years old. That is an old lasagna. Now think about it. If you go into your refrigerator or your freezer, you might have some old food. Yeah, go check. After this podcast, go check your freezer. Go check your refrigerator and see if you find anything really old. If you do, I would love to see a picture of it. Take a picture and send it to me. contact@letsmasterenglish.com. That would be so funny. If anybody sends a picture, I'll actually put it in my next newsletter. So anyway, Orla Walsh of Ireland and her mother were recently cleaning out a freezer when they found a 26-year-old lasagna. It had an expiration date of March 1997. The meal was found among some camping gear. Now, this sentence is confusing to me. So in the freezer, they had camping gear. And I don't understand that. When we say camping gear, we would think of a tent, a sleeping bag, maybe a flashlight. I don't know. Are they storing their camping gear in the freezer? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, they found the frozen lasagna among some camping gear. But the good news is the Walsh family did not eat it. Thank God. I'm glad they didn't eat it. 26 years old. I don't know. Would you eat it? Would you try it? I've heard that like honey, for example, never goes bad. And you can find, 10,000-year-old honey and still eat it. But what about a 26-year-old frozen lasagna? It was frozen. I'm sure it was still good. Anyway, that was the first story. The second story, date stacking. Date, D-A-T-E. Stacking, S-T-A-C-K-I-N-G. So, dating, if you're single, you go on a date. And if the date is a good date, you date again and again, and maybe one day you get married. But sometimes people are so busy, and meeting people is sometimes difficult. So there's a new trend in the United States, and it's called date stacking. So listen to the story. Date stacking is trending for people who don't have a lot of time to date. So date stacking is very popular for busy people. Date stacking involves going on multiple 1-hour dates in one night. So that means in one night, like maybe Friday night or Saturday night, you have several 1-hour dates. So the first date is maybe at 6 p.m. and the second date is maybe at 7:30. And the third date is maybe at 9 o'clock. 3 dates. Most date stackers, people who do date stacking, plan 3 dates over the course of 5 hours. So from 6 o'clock until 10 o'clock, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 o'clock, I don't know. They plan 3 separate dates over 5 hours, 1 hour each. If any of the dates go well, they then book a second date. Then they ask for a second date. So what do you think? Is that cool? If you were, maybe you are single, does that sound like a good idea? A good chance to meet a lot of different people. And if there's good chemistry, if you like the other person, you can have a second date. You know, maybe it's not such a bad idea. I'll tell you what, though, when I was young and single, we didn't have any conveniences like this. We had to work to get dates. And then when you had a date, you had to be careful. If you were interested in the person, you had to show them that you're a good person. And then if you're lucky, you get the second date. Now it sounds more convenient. You've got the internet for dating. You've got date stacking. So you can start with the internet, then you can date stack, and then you can pick the best person. Is that how this is supposed to work? It's like looking at a resume and hiring the right person. I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea. Would you date stack? And the third story, a 2007 Apple iPhone was recently auctioned off for $197,000. That's the price of a house. A 2007 Apple iPhone. Now, this is weird to me because I, Coach Shane, still have my 2008 Apple iPhone. And I haven't tried using it in many, many, many years, but maybe I should keep it and sell it. A 2007 Apple iPhone was auctioned off, was sold at an auction. Do you know what an auction is? AUCTION. An auction is where they show art or the iPhone or maybe a valuable coin. And they say, I have this 2007 Apple iPhone. It's brand new, never used. It has the charging cable. The original price was $499. And we will sell this item, but the starting amount is $1,000. Does anybody want to buy the phone for $1,000? $1,000. Well, there's a man, $1,000. What about $1,100? Oh, $1,100. $1,500. $2,000. And this went to $197,000. Now, they don't say, but I'm sure the Apple iPhone was brand new, still in the box, not used like mine. But $197,000? That's just crazy. The phone has 4 gigabytes of memory. And as you know, in 2023, 4 gigabytes of memory is useless. And retailed for, it sold for, if you went to the iPhone store in 2007, if you went to the Apple store in 2007, you could buy the phone for $499. That's when it was released, when it was first sold. So there you go, some crazy stories. Do you have a favorite? Lasagna, an absolutely delicious Italian food. Camping gear, things that you use when you go camping. A tent, a sleeping bag, maybe a lantern. Over the course of 5 hours, during 5 hours, from 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. To book a second date, to ask for a second date. We could say reserve, but in this case, ask for would be better. Auctioned off means sold at an auction. Retailed for means originally sold for at the store. And finally, released when something was first sold. Check out the 3 stories one more time. Orla Walsh of Ireland and her mother were recently cleaning out a freezer when they found a 26-year-old lasagna. It had an expiration date of March 1997. The meal was found among some camping gear. The Walsh family did not eat it. Date stacking is trending for people who don't have a lot of time to date. Date stacking involves going on multiple one-hour dates in one night. Most date stackers plan 3 dates over the course of 5 hours. If any of the dates go well, they then book a second date. And finally, a 2007 Apple iPhone was recently auctioned off for $197,000. The phone has 4 gigabytes of memory and retailed for $499 when it was released.
Where education and entertainment come together. Let's master English. Do it.
How you doing, everybody? This is Country Shane, and I'm bringing you the facts. 26-year-old lasagna? Ha! The oldest ice cream, everybody, is much, much older. They found a sample of ice cream in a Chinese nobleman's tomb in 2014. The 2,200-year-old treat was made from buffalo milk, flour, and camphor. Wow! 26-year-old lasagna, that's old. But what about 2,200-year-old ice cream? Yeah, they found 2,200-year-old ice cream. When did they find it? In 2014. Where? In China. Whose was it? It was a Chinese nobleman. A nobleman, Nobleman. That just means an elite. Maybe he was part of the government. Maybe he was part of the king's family or queen's family at the time. Anyway, he was a nobleman. He was a very high person, high-ranking person in China. And when he died, they buried him in a tomb, T-O-M-B, a tomb. And a tomb, you can think about like Egypt, right, with the pharaohs and King Tut, Tutankhamun. That's the idea of a tomb. They had tombs in China, too. They have tombs all over the world a long, long time ago for very rich people. So there was a Chinese nobleman, and he died 2,200 years ago. And inside his tomb, of course, there was his body, and there was probably some clothing, and there were other things too. Among the things in the tomb, though, was a sample of ice cream. Wow. Now, I'm sure the ice cream had melted. I'm guessing. But they tested this ice cream to find out how it was made, and they discovered it was made from buffalo milk. And buffalo is a type of cow, so buffalo milk, flour, F-L-O-U-R, okay, and something called camphor. And I'll spell that C-A-M-P-H-O-R. And again, the pronunciation camphor. Now, camphor, nowadays in 2023, we might find it in medicine. And it kind of has a minty smell to it. And if you put it on your skin, then it feels very cool. Okay, so this is the idea of camphor, but it can be used as a flavor. And just a little bit, because it can be poisonous, but it's possible. So basically, this old guy enjoyed mint ice cream 2,200 years ago, and they found his ice cream. That, my friend, is amazing. 2,200-year-old ice cream. Which sounds better? 26-year-old lasagna or 2,200-year-old ice cream? It's mint ice cream. I think I would go for the ice cream. We had such a great question in DDM, and this type of question actually comes up a lot. When we see more than one verb together, and they're different verbs. And it's most common with the verb go, G-O, okay? So I'm going to give you a sentence here and listen to it. I'm going to go watch a movie. And proper pronunciation, I'm going to go watch a movie. Now, this sentence is absolutely fine in daily English. It's very, very common. And I'm going to, that simply means will. I'm going to go. Actually, this is emphasizing will, and it probably means now. Right now, I'm gonna go. Where are you going to? Watch a movie. So I'm going to go to the movie theater. I'm going to go to the cinema. Maybe I'm going to go to my bedroom and watch a movie. That's all it means. It's a very common sentence, and grammatically in daily English, it's fine. Again, I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm going to go eat lunch. I'm going to go study English. The emphasis actually is on will. I'm going to do something. I will do something, watch a movie, study English, or whatever. But what about this sentence? I'm going to go to watch a movie. Again, this sentence is absolutely fine. And it can be the same thing. The meaning can be the same as I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm going to go to watch a movie. However, if there's a difference, the difference is an emphasis on the reason. I'm going to go to watch. You might think like this. I'm going to go. I'm going to leave in order to, for the reason of watching a movie, in order to watch a movie. So again, I'm going to go to do something. The emphasis is on what you're going to do. I'm going to go to read a book. I'm going to go to watch a movie. I'm going to go to eat lunch. Eat lunch, read a book, watch a movie. That's where the focus is. And finally, I'm going to go and watch a movie. I'm going to go and watch a movie. This is also in daily English absolutely acceptable. And it's basically the same as I'm going to go to watch a movie. The emphasis is on the action. I'm going to go and watch a movie. Watch is where the focus is. I'm going to go watch a movie. Actually, more emphasis on will. I'm going to go to watch a movie. Emphasis on watch. I'm going to go and watch a movie. Again, emphasis on watch. But even though I said, this is where the emphasis is, this is where the focus is, don't worry about it. In daily English, they mean the same thing. What are you going to do tonight? I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm going to go to watch a movie. I'm going to go and watch a movie. They're all the same. It simply means I will watch a movie tonight. It's a great phrase. We use all three, and maybe you should try to start using them too. Today in history, July 21st. On this date in 1899, Ernest Hemingway. Have you heard about him? Oh, he's a very famous American novelist, short story writer. He was born on this date in 1899. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954, and some of his famous stories, For Whom the Bell Tolls, A Farewell to Arms, and my favorite, have you read it? It's not that difficult. I do encourage you. It's a wonderful book, The Old Man and the Sea. Excellent book. In 1969, the Apollo 11 moon landing. On this date, astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first person to walk on the moon, and Armstrong said something very famous. Do you know what he said? He said this: "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Now, in 2023, if we say man and mankind, some people will get angry. What about women? No. It doesn't mean only men. Man simply means humans. Mankind means humans, not animals, not monkeys, but humans. That's what it means. So anyway, that happened on this date in 1969. In 1973, Jim Croce, his song Bad, Bad Leroy Brown hit number one. Do you know that song? And bad, bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town, meaner than a junkyard dog. something like that. It's a great song, Jim Croce's Bad Bad Leroy Brown. Also, in 1987, in music, the first album of GNR, Guns N' Roses, was released. The album name, Appetite for Destruction. It was a huge hit. Two of the songs that were really famous, Welcome to the Jungle and Sweet Child of Mine. Sorry, Axl Rose sings much better than Axel Peterson. And in 2007, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, the 7th and final volume of the Wizard series by J.K. Rowling, went on sale. It is July 21st, the 202nd day of the year. There are 163 days remaining until the end of the year. 45 days until Labor Day. In America, the next big holiday is Labor Day. And 102 days left until Halloween. That's the next really fun holiday. It's not really a holiday, but anyway. Also, today is National Junk Food Day. Oh, do you like junk food? This is the day to eat it. Junk food, that means like candy and cookies and ice cream and things like that. I don't recommend eating 2,200-year-old ice cream. But hey, if you got some candy, go ahead. What's your favorite junk food, by the way? It's also Invite an Alien to Live with You Day. I don't know if I would really want that. And I have a feeling if aliens are able to come to Earth, they probably wouldn't want to live with me either. And finally, this actually sounds fun. I think only Michael Jackson would have been able to do it. It is Take a Monkey to Lunch Day. Now, my wife and I jokingly refer to our second son, Jimmy, as a monkey. So yeah, maybe I should take him to work today, my little monkey. What about birthdays? Famous people born on July 21st. Once again, we had Ernest Hemingway, right? But we also have Robin Williams, the late, great American actor and comedian. Oh, he was such a great actor. Do you know him as a comedian? He was also very funny. Some of his movies that were really famous, Good Will Hunting, Aladdin, Dead Poets Society. Yeah, really, really excellent movies. Unfortunately, he passed away. Josh Hartnett. Robin Williams, by the way, was born in 1951. Josh Hartnett was born in 1978. Who is he? He's another great actor. He was in films like The Faculty, Black Hawk Down, and Pearl Harbor. Paloma Bernardi was born in 1985. Do you know Paloma? She's a Brazilian actress, and she's been in several Brazilian series and telenovelas. You know, we have lots of people in Brazil, and one of our listeners said, what about Brazil? And also in China. I'll get to China in a second. Diane Guerrero. Oh, that's just terrible pronunciation. She was born in 1986. She's also an actress, and she was famous in Orange is the New Black, which I have no idea about that movie. But anyway, happy birthday to her. And finally, Yang Mi, born in 1986, just like Diane Guerrero. Yang Mi. Yang Mi is a Chinese actress and singer. She is known for her roles in television series The Swords of Legends, The Interpreter, and Eternal Love. And I guess she is one of the most popular actresses in China. So if it's your birthday, you celebrate it with some other very famous people. Happy birthday to you. All right, it's time for me to give some shout outs. Now, iTunes, they make it very difficult to read comments from around the world, but Spotify makes it so easy. So I don't know. I'm not going to tell you to use Spotify. Is it free? I don't even know if it's free. But anyway, we do have a lot of listeners on Spotify. And it's easy for me to read comments. So try it out. Spotify, Spotify.com, just right there. And I got a bunch of comments that I want to read. Let's see here. Ryuku Tenken. Hello, Coach Shane. I found your channel on Spotify. Thanks for your effort. It's an amazing podcast. I learn a lot with every one of them. Greetings from Chile, South America. Thank you very much, Ryuku. Luciana. Oh, Luciana, this is my DDM VIP, Perf VIP student. Great podcast, Coach. Coach Shane is a great teacher, and we learn a lot from him all the time. Thank you so much, Luciana. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that. We have JFKA00. Thanks, Coach. You rock. Greetings from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Obrigado. English with me. And I'm wondering, English with me, where are you from? Because in China, on Bilibili, I have a student whose name is English with me. Is it the same person? Is it different? I don't know. But English with me says, your sense of humor never gets old. Leonardo DiCappuccino. LOL. I'm glad you caught that. Very good ears. We got more here. Hana Manesh. This is another DDM VIP, Perf VIP student of mine. Thank you so much. Each of your podcasts is a great lesson. Besides the English language, which is my goal, I'm learning about American culture and enhancing my general knowledge. Thank you, Coach Shane. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Hana. And finally, we have Sure You Cheng. I'm guessing Cheng Sure You. I'm serious. This is a really fun and helpful podcast for me. There are many multiple topics that let me know all about real American daily life. 5 stars. Thank you so much. Ian Mercado. Is it Mercado or Mercado? Is great. Thank you so much. And finally, Non-Poly. Amazing podcast. Keep it up, Coach. Renan from Brazil. Again, obrigado to you. Thank you so much, everybody, for leaving your comments on Spotify. It's so easy for me to find them and read them, so I really, really appreciate that. And that is the end of today's LME podcast, number 95. I'm airing this on July 21st, 2023. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. We dove into some great stories, from frozen lasagnas to date stacking to a costly iPhone, not to mention our customary country Shane fact about the oldest ice cream in the world. Did you enjoy the stories? Did you learn something new? Did you find it entertaining? I'd love to know. Reach out, drop me an email. Send an email to me, contact@letsmasterenglish.com. And remember, if you like what you're hearing on the LME podcast, don't keep it to yourself. Don't be greedy. Please share it with friends. Leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. It really helps me reach out to English learners around the world. And be sure to join me for my next episode, where I will share more great stories and excellent English language tips. And don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter at letsmasterenglish.com. When you subscribe to the newsletter, you can also receive free listening and speaking lessons, all completely free. Now, right now, it's free as of, right now, July 2023, but we might be changing that, so get it now. Get it now. Remember, the road to mastery is paved with practice, and there's no better time to start practicing than now. So be bold, take risks, and make mistakes. And together, let's master English.